Let's turn now from race to the coronavirus. A big, like the twin, I think probably this is more of a bigger factor in the precipitous drop of Trump's poll position was the fact that his demeanor, especially I think over the past month or so on the coronavirus, as now it's getting time, the older stimulus packages are starting to expire, and the White House still faces a big selling job to skeptical Republicans, especially in the Senate, according to Politico here, on its long-sought payroll tax cut just days before the lawmakers hope to unveil their new coronavirus relief proposal. That's something. While top Trump administration officials publicly suggested Monday that the tax cut would be included in the GOP plan, Senate Republicans are expressing deep reservations. It's a priority for the president, said John Thune, the Senate Majority Whip. We'll take a look at it, see what the consensus is, see what the votes are, but I know there's a lot of skepticism about it in our conference. And that's the thing. I think that's, if I'm correct, that's like the thing that helps. It's a payroll tax for employers, right?
Yeah.
Probably just not like a kind of trickle down economics measure.
No, it actually, because you contribute to your payroll tax. So employers pay it, and you pay it you pay into it, because part of it ends up your Social Security.
And that's the part of the thing that goes to social. Yeah. The payroll tax cut that's what goes to Medicare.
A suspension of that,
okay,
just a temporary suspension, certainly would jumpstart a little bit of hiring, which is something that kind of need already. We can't live with the unemployment that we have currently. Although, yes, the employment is improving all the time. Another year of this, and we are going to be in some really sorry shoes.
Yes, I think so. And it's like, it kind of shows you like the fact that it really worries me. Like this feels like it just could be a lasting problem. We don't really know what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said about this, about whether the payroll tax cut will be included in this proposal. And he's expected to first kind of see how things are figuring out and take his temperature. Senate Republicans are also pushing for tens of billions of dollars in funding for testing for the states, initial funds for the CDC, in addition to spending boost for State Department and Pentagon. Money the White House so far has resisted, which is interesting. I think with the CDC for the new package, Trump administration officials have also floated new spending caps for the next year's budget and are seeking funding for non-coronavirus projects such as $250 million for FBI renovations. So, what do you think of this response here? Do you think it'll help Trump here or hurt him with the certain people that he is probably trying to win back right now?
You can probably bet on a handful of Republicans where any spending is going to be a no. Okay, I mean, I think of a guy like Rand Paul. Do you think he's going to want to cough up any money for anything anymore? If I were going to bet, he would dissect that proposal to no end. So if you're already one Republican in the hole,
I think it's like
you've got a problem.
And if you have someone who, like, I think if he comes out and supports kind of more economic or at least government relief, like through this, and kind of really does promote a sense of, I think we're in this together, I think that would help him. I think this is not the time to be like coming out. We're saying pull yourself up by your bootstraps, get through this the hard way kind of thing.
There's clearly an admission that this is going to take longer than anybody had imagined. Although there's some good news coming out of various pharmaceutical companies. People are
Oxford testing a new vaccine.
People are advancing with human testing, and so I think it's pie in the sky to think that we'll see a vaccine anytime soon. It's not coming.
Yeah,
we don't have vaccines for the common cold. We don't have one for HIV. This is just the nature of the beast. We'll come up with treatments that will be effective. We learn more about it every day. But clearly this is going to represent a problem going forward about when it comes to the economy and hiring and demand. Listen, demand for things is surely going to hit the skids for real if people aren't going back to work. And honestly,
they can't pay.
If kids aren't going back to any kind of school, that's a real big problem.
Well, I think online school
kills productivity on the part of their parents. So the GDP will take a hit no matter what.
It's a perfect segue into our next story, which is where teachers were going to be suing Florida governor for the order to reopen schools in defiance of, quote, basic human needs for health and safety. That's what they're saying there. Teachers in Florida, where the coronavirus cases continue to surge, filed a lawsuit on Monday to block a state-ordered physical reopening of schools in August, saying there's no rational basis for ignoring science and evidence-based data. I think obviously, I would personally enjoy going back to school, but again, I don't think we should because it's just not safe.
I don't know a single parent who wouldn't enjoy having their kids go back to
Yeah,
school.
honestly, the kids are starting to want to enjoy it at this point. Like, no one's like, oh, yes, I want to stay home, but...
Again, we're in a political season, okay? So this is an election year. You've got everyone weighing in. You've got the California teachers weighing in. They don't want to go back until there's Medicare for all, right? This is just...
We do need Medicare for all. We always do.
But
we
hold
always
on a
do.
second. Now, there's a reason.
Especially now.
There's a reason they want Medicare for all. Because they have so many unfunded pension obligations that the state of California has given away, and they can't cover it anymore. So basically, it's a back door of getting the federal government to bail you out. And that's the crux of the problem.
If they bail out teachers, that would honestly be preferable.
What it allows is a state government to bust their budget and get covered by the federal government. And I think that more fiscally responsible states have a right to resent that.
And you're not going to see, of course, Medicare for all on a federal level anytime soon. You probably won't even see it through like 2 terms of Bernie Sanders. But I think this is, again, if you want to talk about a political issue, like teachers, like this is people do not want to. If you look at the country, do not want to go back to school. So I just don't think this is just. It's just not safe at this point, especially in those states. It's not safe. Maybe in New York.
I'm of two minds about this. I understand why adults, especially older adults who are teachers, administrators, and nurses, faculty, whatever, why they wouldn't want to go back to school.
And there are teachers of all ages.
But it's clear that young kids don't suffer the way older adults do. They don't suffer through the virus. They don't even pick it up at the rate that older adults do. So, what we have here, it's how do we meet everybody's needs? Like there has to be a compromise in there. So social distancing on alternate social distancing, wearing a mask, going to school on alternate days, doing some at school, some at home. I mean, I think there are going to be some compromises in there that will work. Again, because it's an election year, there are no compromises. This will not happen.
Honestly, I think compromises have been dead for quite a while, but probably ever since like the 1990s. But now it is
since Bill Clinton changed welfare. That was the
right
last great compromise.
1994. I think it's like I heard an interesting thing about why there is no compromises because for the first time ever since the Republican Revolution, where all the kind of Southern Democrats were defeated, there was now there was officially a right-wing Republican Party and a left-wing right-wing Republican Party, left-wing Liberal Party, which that was kind of just slowly led us down to the more deteriorating spiral that we're out of
The two-party system that we have in this country it yields the most pathetic nominees you could ever find. And
it's really, and it's so crazy because we can talk about, I do want to talk about this even a little bit later. I guess we can talk about it now. It's so infuriating that we have a party where there is people like AOC, who should not be in the same party as someone like Joe Biden, who sees now fit to invite John Kasich to speak, literally a GOP governor who has proven to be at times anti-union, anti-choice, he's
also
a Republican.
Not really a Republican.
He's a Republican. He is a
guy who would
he
calls himself a Republican because there's no other place. He should be in a different party. He should have his own party. Okay?
Yeah, I do think there should be more parties, and but he is on the right, explicitly on the right wing of the political spectrum, which kind of was really what worries me is that the people when Biden gets elected, he's just going to toss the keys to the Lincoln Project and people like John Kasich and really make this Bush, like a very Bush-style presidency. Like,
so I don't see that coming.
And just Biden hops in the back seat for the next 4 years.
But clearly, I mean, you and I, we're on slightly different sides of center, and we both recognize that Joe Biden
How could you not?
is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it's like, it really is, like, at this point, I think just the way I feel about it is like, it's not even, before it would have been fun to, like, see kind of Trump go against Biden in a debate, because, of course, I have, like, from, of course, the primaries and just, like, Biden's policy and stuff, I don't like Biden at all. But at this point, seeing Trump debate Biden, just after the way he's handled the pandemic, the way things have gone so far, like, it's just getting to a point where it's just, like, it's not that funny, like, as it used to be, because now people are just really, I feel like they're getting in trouble in a way that never has been before. But Biden, Trump saying things and kind of like roasting Biden, like, it feels like almost from kind of another time. Like, I would have loved to see that maybe in March, like a Biden-Trump debate, hypothetically, because March Bernie was still in. But it would have been nice to see. But I just think now, it's just, at this point, I just think more than ever, I feel this is a lot of ways. I think a lot of people in my position feel this. People who are not necessarily sold about Biden feel this. Like, it is more important than ever to just get Trump kind of out of there and just have someone, even if he's that bad, like, I don't think he would be handling the coronavirus in the way that Trump has. And I will be the first person to say that I'm ready to, like, vehemently oppose almost everything that he's going to do, because I don't think he's going to have high expectation for that presidency at all.
Right.
That's kind of the weird position that we're in this two-party system.
It is a strange position. I got to imagine that Joe Biden and Donald Trump debating at this point would consider, all you have to do is look at the newspaper, see any news footage on whatever side of the spectrum you're on. We are living right now through a three-ring circus. It's almost like a Trump and Biden debate couldn't top it. Insanity is happening everywhere. So
yeah, it's really just like matter. It would be. Yeah, it feels like it would just be something that's just like it would have been a spectacle. Yeah, again in March.
I do believe though, if it would occur, first of all, I don't believe Donald Trump can control his logorrhea very much. So he just he attacks when he should relax, and he relaxes when he's getting pummeled. He may have some broad political instincts, but I think lately he's on defense.
Yeah, I think almost like he seems, especially in that Chris Wallace interview, he was like already ready to be like, they treated me very unfairly. Right. That's why I lost.
And I got to give, you got to give Chris Wallace.
Oh yeah, totally. He was kind of aggressive without coming off as like
exactly, and
a lib, which is going to be a lot of convincing.
Literally was perfect, and he showed Donald Trump in a fairly unflattering way. Even though Donald Trump often has a good point to make, he's like hitting a fly with a cannonball instead of a fly swatter. It's like, just moderate the responses. Yeah. He doesn't know how to do it, and so it comes off horribly. Now, the bottom line, though, is if you're a conservative, if you're a fiscal honestly, if you're a fiscal conservative, I don't know where you go now. Everybody's spending money we don't have. We're heading into the trillions and trillions now. You
got to feel pretty comfortable if you look at what Biden's record on Social Security has been, right to the Democratic caucus, desperately wanting to. If you could go back, videos on videos that I think Bernie should have just dumped on, but he just didn't really feel like it or didn't have enough time, whatever. There was videos of him being like, oh, we got to cut entitlements. We got to, like, he's like, when I talk about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all of it, I want it on the table. Like, if there's any Democrat who's going to be willing to, A, work with the right in general, and B, cut the entitlement spending, like, it will be Joe Biden. Like, that's going to be the person. And I think it really does not make any sense. Like, the way that Joe Biden, I think, is really being laughably painted as Bernie Sanders 2.0, when I think he could be much more effectively painted as Hillary Clinton 2.0, and that's a big mistake of where Trump is making. Like, people, they look at Joe Biden speak, they look at the way he conducted